And if you weren't aware, the reason we're doing revalidate path is because we want to automatically validate the data immediately that we're getting from the server. It gives a much faster end user experience, and it doesn't utilize the client side JavaScript, which is going to be clutch in the event someone wants to view our website that doesn't have JavaScript ran on the client side. So that's the reason that I had to be cautious about how much styling and JavaScript and things like that that you add, because as you get content or websites on the web, you're going to notice that not all browsers have the same capability, and that goes the same for devices, and you just never know how your client may access your website. It could either be through the web, or it could be through web. It'll always be through the web. It could be through a CPU, or it could be through a smartphone or a phone device. So now that we have the imports brought in, next I'm going to define the type that we'll be using. So we'll say export type, export type. This is going to be a post. We'll define the ID as a number, title as a string. I think I did content. And because we're writing this to a local file, I'm going to create a const name file underscore path, and we'll set it equal to path.join process.cw, and we're going to be passing in data and also host.json. This should be in oops, save this. Next up, we'll go ahead and create the ability to write a note. We'll do write notes. So we'll say write notes to local. This is going to be a async function. Write notes, write post, excuse me. Post. Inside of this, we'll go await fs.write file, pass in the file path, a JSON stringify post no to. And because we're passing this over the headers, we'll need to include the UTF-8. And then now let's do the ability to add a post. And this is what we'll be using like an API. This initial write post is defining how we'll store it and write it to the local file or the local database. And then now what we want to do is have the ability to send this data from the front end to the back end, and also include the ability to write the post to the local file. And the file that we're writing it to is the post file. So next we'll do, I create it. We'll do read post. I want to add notes so it is easier to read, even though this isn't very complicated. It's still good. It's a good practice to have notes as you write out your content or your code. So we'll say async function read post. Say promise post. That promise is referring to that. In this, we'll have a try catch. Const data is equal to await fs dot read file path, and that second argument needs to be ut. Oh, my insert is off. That's why I stand utf-8. That's gonna drive me crazy. Where is this? I'll come back to it. Crazy. And then what we want to return is json.parse, and what we want to pass in or parse is the data. In the catch, we'll just return a empty array, which will represent the actual database itself. Then add host via front end. So we'll go export async function, add post. In this, we know we'll need to pass in some information. So I'm going to pass in, there we go, pass in the form data. This is still syntax from next. Server components. No, I'm looking for mutations. Data fetching. Form data. And this is just writing it directly in, updating and revalidate the cache. So yeah, we're doing it right, or the most modern way to do it, if you will.